So let me get to mine. I have so much stuff from today just piling up that it's like...
You should come on there.
Yeah. Okay, so Classroom, and again, yep, classroom.google.com, or you should, and I don't know why yours isn't showing there, Lori, but mine, if I click more and then scroll, it gives me it here too.
Okay.
But you've got it bookmarked, so I think you'll be okay from there.
Okay, thanks.
Yep. Okay, so I have my classes set up here, and just a quick refresher, you guys will want to add your classes in, and that's the plus here. So I'm going to just show you what that looks like. So from the teacher side of it, you could see create class and join class. So I'm just going to create one, we'll call it test class 2, since I did one the other day. Make sure whatever you name it unique, because if you put, what I did the first time is I put science, and then I put section was the hour, like 4th hour. And then what I noticed though is that the folder that it made just said science, so I had 3 or 4 different folders that said science, and I couldn't tell which was which. So if you put in the actual hour or whatever, it makes it a lot easier to figure out later.
And then just kind of maybe even leave the section blank, do you?
Yeah, I didn't even put anything in then for section. They may have changed it. There's always things that they're updating, so it might actually make a difference now how you label it, but I just, to be on the safe side, made it, science and geography, and then the hour. Some people were asking, do you recommend doing all of your students on one list or each class? It's a personal preference thing. I do each class because if one class is a little further than the other, even though they're both science, I can sort of dictate where they're at, because I have a class of 12 in science and then I have a class of 28, so they don't ever stay on the same page. So I have to make sure that if this class is behind, I can change things and whatever. But again, it's personal preference. So here's what comes up when I add in my class. Now, if I want my students to join my class, the way I did it the first day that I introduced this to my students is I had all my classes set up. I did not add any students ahead of time because you can do it with the code, which is really fast and easy. And then I had the students log in, and some of them already had done this in other classes, and so I was like, great, then they got logged in right away. But those students that didn't, they have a thing that says, like, welcome to Classroom. They have to scroll down and click I am a student. So you'll have some students that have never been on it before that'll be like, what is this? I don't see the same thing you do. Just tell them to click student.
They got an email. Or what are they looking at when they
get this?
Yeah.
I just told them, I showed them the same ways. I said you could type in classroom.google or you can access it through your Google Drive.
And then you ask them to put in the class code?
Yep. So once they got in and they got to this screen, which is their home page, some of them didn't have any classes, some of them had 1 or 2, depending on who their teachers are.
Okay.
So then I showed them, okay guys, you go up to the plus and you join a class. They only have the option to join, they can't create a class. So then I told them join a class, and then what happens when you click that is they type in a class code.
Okay.
And your class code is, so I just created this one for you guys to try it. So go ahead and try this. Go ahead and add a class from your end. And the class code, if it's really complicated, like I had one that had an L and some kids typed it in as a 1 and some thought it was an I. So if it's a complicated code that you don't think they're going to be able to get really easily without a lot of questions, you can actually reset it and change it to one that's easier. So I reset mine a couple times till I got one that was pretty easy. And then I wrote it on my whiteboard so they could see it, because obviously most kids couldn't see it from over here. So I wrote it up here really big, like, what is it here? G8Q, and you can enter it in yours.
Do we enter the home page?
So wait, I'm creating a class right now, but I'm not doing anything, right? Or am I playing with your test one?
Yep, I want you to try and add as a student. So
okay, so I've got my code.
Okay, so this is one you created?
I just created this.
Okay, so why don't you go back to the main menu here, and
So
then just home. Yep. And then click the plus, and this is what your students will see. So then join a class.
Okay, and I'm going to join your class.
And then you type in that code that it goes there. And some people on Monday said, wow, this is really helpful to be part of someone else's class, because then you know what the students are seeing.
Yeah.
So some people kept it, some people didn't. They deleted it. It's fine. I mean, whatever works for you. So I'll keep them up there for a couple weeks so you can show your students, hey, this is what you should be seeing,
And will that be specific? So let's say a kid comes in second semester that will still have the same code,
Yep.
It
Well,
will
and
stay
even
on
if,
yours right there?
yep,
Okay.
that'll stay the same unless you reset it. But even if you reset it, it doesn't change anything with your students. So if
Okay.
a student comes in midway through the year and you've disabled it or reset it,
Yeah.
you just give them that code and it'll add them to the same class.
Now, why would anybody disable it?
I guess if you don't want students to try to add to other classes, I don't know why they
Okay,
would.
yeah, all right.
But, you know, I mean, I guess if one student said, oh, this was the scenario I could kind of see is a student says to another student that's in a different class, what was the code for that class? Gets the wrong code and is added to the wrong class. Not even intentionally, but just...
Okay.
So
You
you
know-
can disable them.
If a kid from another class uses that code and it will show up on your screen as a teacher that you've got a kid in there that's really not on your roster.
Yeah. I mean, it'll show up under the students tab, so
Right.
you'll see their name.
Okay.
But I mean, if you're not checking it frequently, they could just kind of sneakily add in. But I don't, like I said, I don't know why they would, I don't see any malicious reason why they would
Right,
want to do it.
no,
It could be a
it's
total
just
just
Curious
Never
to see what
figured
you're
it out.
doing.
Yeah, I don't think it'll
I
happen,
don't
but
think I'll ever figure it out.
yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, and what's it going to hurt? They're going to get the assignments. I mean,
Yeah, right, okay.
the only thing that would be a potential concern is like if you're giving, let's say, a test,
Right.
and you only want it open for this specific class, and another kid is in it, they could get it during their study hall and they're doing
Right.
the test.
So then
I
you
don't
just
know.
disable that code.
Disable the code.
The
Yep,
code.
and that's you just click on
Yep.
the code and disable it.
Okay.
And then they can't add anymore. So now I've disabled it, so no one else should be able to add to my class. But if, like you said, you get a new student, you would just enable it, and it's going to give you a different code, but it's fine.
It still matches.
It
your
still
class.
matches yours. Yep. Yep. So now your students are added, and again, you can choose to stay in my test class if you want to use it for. I'll probably delete the classes in a couple weeks, but. Okay, so the students see pretty much the same thing we see. There's a few extra options for teachers, which I like, is like our screens are very similar. You can change as a teacher, you have the option to change the class theme. So I made, like my science classes, I made a sciencey background. My geography, I kind of made a geography. So you can just pick those. And you can change the theme at any time. It doesn't mess with any of the other information. That's just kind of a cool thing you can change. The stream, again, you have the option to make an announcement or an assignment. The students will only be able to do an announcement. I learned the hard way that you have to tell your students right away, you are not allowed to make announcements unless I tell you to. Because right away I had my first class that I tried this with, all these kids are just putting stuff on the announcements. And I had a list of just comments like, oh, hey, so-and-so across the room, you know, just silly things. And I was like, oh gosh. And then the problem with that is if you do have assignments on or announcements that you want them to read, they have to scroll way down to find it. So I just after that point realized I need to make it very clear that they're not allowed to do anything on the announcements unless I tell them to. And so then they can delete it too from their end, and you can delete it as a teacher. So if they make a comment that you want deleted, you can delete it from
Okay,
your
so,
end.
so now I'm on as a student right now.
Yep.
Looking at that, and I don't see any place where just where it says share with your class.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're saying that's,
They type it in right
That's
there.
their
okay, but you didn't disable that or anything. You just
No,
said,
there's
"Don't
no
do it,
way-
guys."
Yeah, no, as far as I'm concerned,
Okay.
as I know, I don't think there's a way to disable that as a feature right now to
Okay.
let them not do that. But, I mean, if you tell your class, you know, and I just told them, like, if I see you doing that after I told you you're not supposed to, there's going to be a consequence.
And you can-
And it was
yeah.
fine. None of them did it after that. And it was kind of my fault. I didn't tell them because I didn't even think about it. And then I just said, okay, no, you guys need to go delete those.
Okay.
So just something I learned kind of the hard way. So your announcements, again, are just kind of, it could be anything. I would use announcements for things where I just want them to follow a procedure. Like if you have a sub and you say, you just tell the sub, have the students log into their classroom and follow the steps. You could just do that here. The only difference between an announcement and an assignment is the assignment actually expects them to turn something in, and they could actually submit something. So if it's not something that you're going to have them turn in or submit to you, then I would make it an announcement. So,
With the assignment, can they
Yep.
attach a file?
yes. So, okay, so let me do announcements really quick, and I'll get to your question in just a second, Tim, okay? Let me just show you my class that I did set up already. So the first day I had them try this, I had this on my announcement. So it was last Friday. I said, you know, happy Friday. Today you're taking a pretest to see what you already know. Please complete the following. And then I said, step 1, click the first link to take the pretest. Take your time. When you're done with that, step 2, click the second link to go to Science World and read more about science. And I gave them the student password to get in and stuff. So then, because this was a form, a Google form, I didn't want to assign it to them. You can assign it, but it doesn't show that they've completed it. And I'll talk about that when I get to assignments. So then they click on this, and it brings them to the test. They take the test. When they're done with the test, then they go to this link and they follow that. So that's what I used announcements for in science. That's kind of how I did it. And again, so announcements are just things that you want them to do, not necessarily an assignment they're turning in or submitting to you.
But that's a good place to put Google Forms.
Yep, so if you have a Google form, you can put it in there exactly. If you're going to give your students a survey, put it in the announcements. The forms are kind of unique because when you send a form, you're not attaching the form itself, you're sending them a link to the form. And so Google Classroom, unlike Docs and Spreadsheet, Google Classroom doesn't know if they've completed the form. So it's never going to say, hey, this person submitted it. It'll just say 0. Yeah. So I figured that out the hard way too when I tried it because I was like, nobody's turning it in. And then I realized, oh, wait, it's not going to know. It doesn't know. There's nothing for them to submit.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, they submit it, but it goes into the form, not into Classroom.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So assignments, and you can absolutely assign a test here through forms or a survey. But the problem is, it's like I said, it's not going to show the little countdown of who's done. So with an assignment, I'll just, let me try this in our test class. So if I want to make an assignment, and I want to say, we'll just call it a test assignment for now. That's the title. And then description is optional, but this is where I would put directions, like fill out the Google Doc below and then read at your seat quietly or something. Okay, then you have a due date, so most of your assignments are going to be due like a day or two down the road. You can have it due the same day. You can change that here. If you want to have a specific time that it's due, you can do that here too. I typically don't. It's usually just by the end of the day. But if it's, for example, if you want them to complete something but you only want to give them time in class to do it, that's where this is kind of nice. Or you say, I'm only giving you 10 minutes, and you set it for 10 minutes from now. And then once that is done, that time is up, I believe they changed this. I believe they can still submit it, but it actually notes that it's late.
Okay.
So it's nice because then you can see who was late. The only time I would do specific time is, like I said, if I want that done by, like I say, by 8 a.m. on Friday, it has to be done. I could put that in there too. Most of the time, I don't have a specific time that it's due, just a certain date. So it automatically defaults to the next day, but you can, like I said, change that. I don't think it'll. Well, you can go back in time, but I wouldn't, obviously. So let's just say it's due Friday, and then you have options down here. Hey, Deb.
Hi.
You can attach something, so if you have just like a PDF, for my geography class I have all their reading as a PDF file, so I could attach that here. I can attach anything from my Google Drive. I can do a YouTube video, so I can actually put a video on here and say watch the video and list 5 facts. You can just send a link. Okay, so you have all those options. And then here, if you have more than one class, like I teach science 3 times, I can assign the same thing to all 3 classes. The only thing I would be cautious of is if you added a time, like let's say you only wanted them to do it this hour, if you do that, your other classes won't be able to, it'll be considered late. But most of my assignments that I assign are the same for all of my science classes, all of my geography, I just assign it at once. So you don't have, and you can do the same with announcements, you can actually make the same announcement for more than one class. So rather than having to type it 3 times, 4 times, you can just do that here. So I'm just going to assign it to this one class, and then what I'm going to do is, let's say I'm a teacher and I'm creating a document that I want them to write on. So I have my document here, and I'm just going to call it test assignment 2. And then let's say the question was, what were 5 facts from yesterday's video? Okay, and then you just write that out. And this might be something you already have in your drive. It doesn't have to be something you just created. Mm-hmm. And then I can use my Google Drive here.
You just shut it down then. You just, after you type that up, then you just close the tab.
Yeah, you can close the tab if you're done with it. Otherwise, I just went back to Classroom. I just have more than one tab here.
Okay, and then you're going to pull up that file.
Yeah, so I can close it. It's not going to make a difference.
Okay.
And then I'm just going to search for it. Test assignment 2. And it knows everything that's in your Google Drive, so it searches.
That's something.
Yeah. And then it attaches it here. Okay, then here you have some different options. Students can view the file, so obviously if you don't want them to edit it, or if it's just something you want them to read, that's fine. Edit the file is going to edit your original. So you're probably never really going to use that, unless you want all of them doing some work on the same document or something. This is the one you'll probably use the most, which is to make a copy for each student. Every student's going to get their own copy, and it's going to make it for them automatically. So there's no worry about, okay, did they label it properly, or is it untitled at the bottom with every other untitled document, you know? So make a copy for each student, and then I assign it. Now, you guys will be able to see the assignment as a student. So as soon as it's done assigning, and sometimes it takes a little bit. From the teacher's end, I can see 2 are not done, and I have 0 that are done. So as you finish it and you submit it to me, it shows me how many students are done. So go ahead and just, take a moment, pull it up.
Is that it? We just
Yeah,
click
you
on
should be able
open.
to.
Okay.
Yep. And yeah, Classroom, I noticed the first couple times they used it was running a little bit slower, but after they use it a little bit, it seems to be better.
Is that right?
Yeah, I don't know. It might be our network. I don't know. Okay, yep. So if you click on the assignment, yep,
Oh, look, I even have my name on it.
yep, and yep, exactly. So the students, you know exactly who turned it in. It automatically attaches their name to it. And then go ahead and just make a little note on it on your copy of it.
It's not letting me. Let's see. No, I can't type.
Oh,
So, maybe it's still thinking. No. Are you able to type?
Uh-huh.
I think there's something with your computer.
Maybe. Go back and refresh.
Yeah.
Oops. There you go.
There you go. Okay, so just type a little something on there just so you can pretend you did an assignment.
And then do you save it?
You shouldn't need to save it. You shouldn't need to share it. Okay?
You don't have to send it to you or
Nope.
anything. Just
So now go back to your classroom.
click off or leave it there.
You can close it. Yep, as long as
Okay.
it's all saved, you're good.
Okay.
Okay, then you're going to click Turn In as soon as
Oh.
you're done. And that's going to go into my folder and say, hey, they're done.
And if at this point, this is the only time I can say, "Whoops, I forgot something," and I can go back and cancel it
No, they actually can edit it at any time until it's due. And then I think it...
until it's due.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like I said, I think they keep making changes to it because people are requesting changes and they're making additions. I think, as far as Jenny was saying the other day, they actually can still edit it after it's due, but then when they resubmit it, it says late.
Okay. So now.
Now,
this
if
is
you
when I want to come.
exactly,
Like, the next day I come in.
yep, you're like, oh, I forgot to do number 5. Unsubmit. It's going to come back to you. You can redo it and resubmit it.
Okay.
And I believe once you submit it, it doesn't let you edit that document anymore unless you unsubmit it. So your students, if they've submitted it and they
Wait. So then I unsubmit it. What are you saying?
Well, I'm trying.
Now.
now you should be able to edit it because you unsubmitted it.
Okay.
So now submit it again.
You can't edit it if you ever submit it.
Yep, it won't let you. Okay, so then it's view only. So now turn it in. And then, yep, turn in. Okay, and then try clicking on Test Assignment 2 again with your name right here and see if it should pull it up, but you shouldn't be able to edit it. Oh, maybe it lets...
Nope.
Nope, okay, there you go.
And why is that? Because of the date it was due, or
No, because you submitted it. So the only way you can edit it again is to unsubmit it, which is you just do in the classroom again, you click that unsubmit button.
Okay.
So once they submit it, like I said, if they, I forgot to do something, they can always click unsubmit. And I think once it's due, then I don't know if it lets them unsubmit it or not, because I had 2 different people telling me 2 different things, and I know before you could not, but they may have added that. So now I see that you're both done. You both turned it in. So now I know exactly how many students are done. I can click on done and not done to see exactly who is all in that list. Since there's 0 not done, it doesn't, it's running kind of slow now. There's something going on with our network here. But you can click on each of those and actually see the list of students that are done and not done.
And then will you just click on, like, you click on my name and see my answers?
So now,
Or you have to go to the file?
when I click on it, I go back to my original. What I should, and if I click on you, what it does is it lets me email you. So as a teacher, though, on your back end of your drive, Classroom is a folder that should have been created already for you.
So I made a class?
Yep.
Is there just one folder?
No, it's Classroom is the only folder, but then within that is all of your other
All the
classes.
Okay.
So as you can see, I have all my classes that I've created. And once you delete a class, your files actually still stay. So if you, at the end of this year, delete stuff, and like next year you say, oh, that student had a really good example, I can show my class, you can still access that.
Really?
So you can keep that, yeah.
Forever and ever. It never goes away.
As far as I know, it doesn't go away, because when I did delete some of my classes that I was playing around with this summer, the files were still all there.
Okay.
And the
Are
same
you
goes
saying-
for the students.
Are you saying the folder was there then?
The folder was still
For each
there.
class?
Yep.
Okay. Even though you deleted it.
Yeah, even though I deleted it from the classroom part of Google, it still was in this
So
folder.
it's not showing up in this list. But what did you do? Do a search for that student, or how did you know it was still in there from last
Well,
year?
I didn't use it last year, but this
Okay.
summer I played around with it and I just made a few fake classes.
Yeah.
And then I went and deleted them out of Classroom, and then I
Right.
came back here and I was like, why are those still there? But that's actually a feature of theirs. They want you to be able to keep everything even. Because obviously, as years go on, you don't want to have 30 classes, that you have to keep scrolling through.
Even you want
Right.
to forget you ever had that class.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But I mean, so when you delete it, you didn't have to see it then.
Right, it's not on
Right.
here.
But you could remember what you named it and called it back up.
Yep,
Okay.
exactly. And so that's kind of nice, because if you assigned something and you go, oh, I wonder what I assigned, you can still find all that too.
Okay.
So with the class, and I won't delete these because I told the other class the same thing, they can use it as a student view, but I would just go here, delete it, and it would just still keep the file right here. It would still be there with everything. So on Monday when I did this, their files that they submitted would still be here for me, even though I deleted the class out of Classroom. You can delete the folders individually out of here,
Okay.
which I did because I had lots of other ones.
And then they're gone?
And then they're gone. Yep. But if you don't delete them out of here, they stay.
Okay, so if you just delete while you're in Classroom, they're just kind of hidden.
Yep, they're just in your
But if you
folder
actually
still.
do it in
If
your drive, it's
I actually
gone.
click on this and delete it, it's gone.
It's gone. Okay.
Yeah.
I should probably write that down.
Yeah. So now I can see, if I click on your class, which is test class 2, it made a folder for my assignment. I didn't go in and add that, it just made that folder. And so I went to the test class. Test assignment was the name of the assignment that I gave you guys. And if I click on it, I see that both of yours, and I can click on them and look at them.
I had a funny answer.
What? Oh, should we look at yours too?
I had to put two, but
Hard to believe.
LRG suck. I don't need more. So then as a teacher, I can comment on it and give them their grade right here, and do that. The other thing you can do is, let's see, test assignment. I can go here and grade them as well.
I'm
So-
sorry, where did you go to get to this? Did you just click on the assignment?
I clicked on the assignment, yep.
And then the assignment, okay.
And then these are the ones, and like I said, it doesn't, if I click on it, oh, it does show me. This is something I think new. So here, Laura, you were asking before, can you just click on their name and get the assignment?
Yeah.
You can actually do that here now. So
Okay.
maybe that's a newer feature, or one I didn't notice before. But yeah, so I could actually click here and get to it instead of going through Drive,
Okay.
So again, you can, if I want to, I can comment and just give you your grade there or give you feedback.
When you say, okay, can you go back
Sure.
to the screen?
To
So
this?
can you click on grade, and
Yep.
that's right where you put their grade?
Put their grade right there. Now, you'll still have to write it down and put it in Infinite Campus.
I highlighted it there.
But,
so no, okay.
yeah, so if you click no grade, it gives you a chance to type it in.
Okay.
This was worth 100 points. You can choose, as whatever points you want. Or if it's ungraded, you can also have that.
Okay.
You can, it doesn't mean you can't do 10 points. You can
Okay.
do 10 points. All you have to do is go up here and actually change the number. So I could make it 10 points and change it. If I do that, it's going to say, hey, students already turned it in and you told them it was 100, now you're making it 10. Okay, so students who already received grades will be notified that it's been updated. So it'll just send them an email and say, hey, you were graded as an 80 out of 100, but now it's 8 out of 10 or whatever. So that's just something you can do. So yeah, you can make it worth any point value. I think initially people were confused and they thought, what? I can only do 1, 20, 50, or 100? You can do any number.
So can I ask, Heather?
Sure.
Does it feel like it's double work then, putting grades in here and putting them in Infinite Campus?
No,
at this point?
because to me it doesn't, and I'm sure other people would disagree, but
Okay.
if a student hands a physical paper to me, I have to still grade it and give it
Right.
back to them
Right.
to show them their grade. And so it's either that or I can do it on here.
Okay.
Because either way I have to tell them their grade. I mean, unless you just expect your students to check all their grades online and you never hand anything back.
Right.
But I personally do. I give them a physical copy of it back. So this takes the place of that.
Okay.
So since they didn't physically hand in a piece of paper that I wrote a grade on and hand it back to them, I'm doing the same thing here.
Yeah.
And then I always keep a paper copy of all my grades anyway, just in case Infinite Campus has a blip or something.
Okay.
So I always write it in here, and then when I have time, I go and I put it in Infinite Campus.
Okay.
So to me, it's not extra work, but it just depends on, the
Okay.
teacher's style.
So you don't go from here to Infinite Campus, you go from your paper to Infinite Campus in a
Yep.
sense, okay.
Yeah, as I'm entering it here, I'll write down the student's grade, and then when I have time, I just enter all of them in at once.
Just think how cool it would be if Classroom was in Infinite Campus. or
Yeah,
vice
say the
versa.
two integrated, that would
Yeah,
be
that
awesome.
would be-
Yeah, maybe Google should
Make your
get
fortune,
together
girls.
with-
Get it done.
yeah, should work with Infinite Campus.
Yeah.
So I can put in your grade. So let's say I'm going to give you, 100 out of 100. Oops, I clicked on it on accident. So I'll give you 100, and then give you 100, and then once I've done that, oops, I can select all of my students or just certain ones, and I can return it to you.
Okay.
So if I click return, I can give you feedback, but if I select more than one, it's going to give the same feedback to both. So if you want to give individual feedback here, you want to do that one student at a time.
Now, so the kids that didn't do the assignment, will they come up or only the done ones?
It should only give you the ones that have been submitted.
So this wouldn't be a place where I could say, hey,
Hey, you
where's
didn't
your
do
assignment?
it. No.
No.
That you could, and you can actually go into their assignment here, and if it's not submitted, you could comment and say, hey, this is late.
Okay.
So you could do that on their doc still.
Wait, but they would have had to submit it.
No, actually,
No?
as soon as they create that doc, because you said make a copy for each student,
Yeah.
even if they didn't submit it, it's all in there.
And where
So-
would I find that? So let's say there was a third person in this class right now, and I know that a copy was made.
Yep.
Where would I find that third person?
It would show up here. So, Deb, why
Okay,
don't you add
okay.
to our class? Are you in classroom right now, Deb?
Sorry. I got calendar questions, so.
Oh, okay.
No,
No,
I'm
no
sorry.
worries. No, it's fine.
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
Okay, so that's good. It would show up in the drive.
It should,
And then I
yeah.
would just click on it and I could share a comment with them.
Yeah, so
Okay.
when I did the test class on Monday, we tried a couple things because we had some technical issues. So these people, Steve was here for Cindy,
I was going to say,
and,
is he online?
oh, he did fill it in. Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to see if there's anybody that didn't do it. But all of them come up right away. So, ooh, they both like green.
I was just gonna say, did everybody pick green?
Oh my gosh! Apparently, everybody likes green. Okay,
Aw.
except for Carrie.
I was hoping
So they all did do the assignment, but even if they hadn't, their name would still be here with
As
a copy.
That a copy was sent.
Exactly.
Is there anything there that says they've written on it? Not really.
It does. It shows when it was last modified.
Okay.
So I mean, if it's obviously hasn't been modified since the day you assigned it, and now it's 10 days later,
Yeah.
then you would
Okay.
kind of be able to tell there.
Okay.
But what you could do instead, I would say, Lori, is going back to. Oops. Just return it to you guys, just so you can see that. In that case, what I would do instead of going through your drive is you should be able to click on the not done list
Mm-hmm.
here,
Yeah.
and then that should show. And I don't know why I don't know if it's just our network is going slow or if it's just not liking me. But that will bring up that list of kids, and you
Yeah.
could just send them all an email at once that says, I didn't get your assignment,
Okay.
just so you know, and just a generic email, and it sends it to all of them. So if I go to, I wish this was loading properly for me. If I pull that up, it's going to look similar to this, where you have a list of kids. You can check them both and email them, and that pulls up,
Goes
and it
to-
has their names in it.
Okay.
And the nice thing about this is it makes it a BCC, a blind CC.
Okay.
So if I send it to both of you, the only person you see in the sent to line is yourself. So if you send an email to 5 kids that didn't turn in their assignment, they don't know that the other kids didn't
Right.
turn theirs in.
Okay.
So it's kind of more private that way. So you can send it all at once without the worry of, well, now the kids all know who didn't turn it in.
Okay. So right there when the cursor is flashing at 2, I don't have to type anything because the list is already in
The
there.
list
in
is here.
BCC.
Yeah, when you send it to 2, everybody that's on that list sees who it's going to. Blind
Right.
carbon copy, it's just, they only see themselves.
Okay.
Yeah. So then I could email you and say, assignment, and I could say, I did not receive your assignment. Please submit it ASAP. And then you could send that, and it sends it to all those kids at once.
Okay, now just a second. It should have sent it to me because you just sent it to me.
Yep.
So where do I go?
So then it comes in your Gmail.
Oh, it's not gonna come to my classroom,
Nope.
it goes right to my
It goes
Gmail.
right to your Gmail. Yep. So if the students are checking their email, they'll see
There
that
it
from
is.
you. Yep. And so then they'll go, oh shoot, I had to turn in my assignment. But the other nice thing is, as the kids log into Classroom, and I'm hoping teachers start using it more because as they're logging in all the time, it tells them of upcoming assignments that are due. So they're gonna know. And you'll see this on the test class too. It should have said something about the assignment. It says right here, test assignment. So they can actually click on it and get right to the assignment.
Just assignment, okay.
I have a question.
Sure.
So we create this and it comes up into Google Drive, Google Classroom,
Yep.
8th grade.
Yep.
So when I put folder files in here, do they see them?
Good question.
Or where will they go? Because I already put that on my announcements, so maybe since it's on my announcements, it went there.
Yeah,
But
if
then
you
I
put
just-
it on your announcements, it goes in there automatically.
But then I just randomly put lunchroom rules in here to see if it would pop up somewhere.
Let's try it. Here, let me get, why don't you give me your code, and I'll add myself to your class, and I'll see if I can see it.
I'm just wondering if it 2Q
Okay?
9M1P. Because that could be super effective if I can just like click and drag a bunch of stuff.
Put all your stuff in there. If it's not an option, we should submit it as a feedback. The more feedback that you give them, I wouldn't assume that other people already probably submitted it. Resubmit it, submit it anyway, because the more people that hear from that want these features, we'll add them. So, okay, so if I go to now my
Would it be in the about?
classroom,
Or it would be in their classroom folder.
so art 8th grade, yeah, see, I don't see anything in
Okay.
there. So I guess no, it doesn't quite do that,
If
which
the-
I guess might be okay
What happens
because
if they drop a file in there?
into here. Well, I can try it. Let's see.
So I'm gonna go look at my driver, so are you saying a folder would have been created for this class now?
Yep.
Under shared with me then?
No, it should just be under your classroom folder.
Okay, so I have one classroom folder.
So let me try to
Yep,
put
there it
this in
is,
here.
okay.
Try to put this in the folder.
And so what are you asking about this folder now?
I'm just wondering if I can add stuff to the folder that's created on the docs and if they have access to it.
Oh,
We found out that they don't have access to
They
it.
don't.
But
But
they
I
can-
added it, so now check yours to see if it shows up on yours. It's called
If
test
you put
assignment.
it in, you say maybe you own the folder in a sense?
So, well, me as a student, okay, so a student can't put anything in the teacher's folder or in the general folder because then the whole class could see it.
But you can put it in.
That's what I'm wondering. I'm wondering if I put something in as a student.
Where it wouldn't be.
Or did you just send it to
Nope.
Tim?
So check your drive. It would be in
Should
your
I just-
drive. So maybe refresh your page. I don't think it would. No.
Ooh, would that be?
Yeah, that would be cool. So maybe that could be an
Yeah,
option.
what did you put in?
It
What
was
did you
called
try
test
to-
assignment too, but it was on Tim's class, so no. We were just kind of testing it out to see if
Oh, it's
that
on
would
Tim's
work.
class, you're not doing it with this.
Yeah, I'm
It
on
could
Tim's
be-
class now.
I was just curious if like they could give, like, okay, for students like, I didn't turn in my sketchbook because I was sick. Well, you got a phone, take a picture of it. And if they could like upload it to me or something.
Well, they could still,
They could email it to me.
Well, in the assignment, couldn't
but they could still, submit it as an
If it was
assignment.
assignment? Okay.
So, like, if you
Go
had,
back to that.
okay, I'm gonna unenroll from your class, Tim. So this is a great time for me to show you unenroll. As students, their only option here with these 3 dots is to unenroll. As a
Okay.
teacher, you can rename or delete it.
Okay.
So students, like if you have a student that moves from your 6th hour to your 8th hour, you can have them unenroll.
They can do this?
Yep. They can unenroll from your 1 hour. You would give them the new code, and they can re-enroll in your
Okay.
other class.
I thought they were, I don't want to be in this class.
Yeah. Well, then I guess you don't get the assignments. Okay,
Can I
so
just create an assignment that has no end date that says like
you could make it like the end of the school year.
Like June
okay,
5th?
like sick turn-in assignments or something. So then like if they're ever sick, they can just like upload their file.
Yeah. So they. Well, let's try it. Let's make it
You know
an
what I mean?
assignment.
Like-
So upload your sketchbook.
So as a student, there's really, I can't find a home
Because then they can
page.
never have an excuse for not turning. Like I was sick on Thursday and Friday. Could have submitted it.
Yeah. So you could make it like the last day of school, June whatever 4th I think it is this year. So it's available all year. Okay, I'm going to assign it. Now see if Okay, now Tim, go into the assignment itself that I just gave you and see, you should be able to, I think you can upload a picture
Okay.
as your assignment, I would think.
And then, I can just upload a file, which
Yep.
will be a JPEG.
Yep.
Sweet.
Yep. So then they could upload it right there.
That is awesome.
Heather, this is, I just got a message, one new item has been posted to the stream, but I've already done my assignment, so
Yep.
what am I
That was the
looking at
sketchbook
next?
thing.
It's the one I just did, so you'll want to refresh your page, and it'll
Okay.
be the one that I just assigned with the sketchbook.
So where will it show me?
It's right there. It's right
Cool.
This one. So
Yep.
this is a new assignment in a sense?
Yep, I just assigned it so we can test out Tim's theory.
Alright.
So yeah, they should be able to upload any pictures.
Very cool.
The other thing is that people were concerned about is, well, if the student is sick and let's say on the due date and they don't turn it in, can they still turn it in? Yes, they can. They would just have to go, I think they click unsubmit or resubmit. But they have to, let's try that really quick. There are
is a
some of
place-
these features that I haven't even used
And I
yet.
know there's a place that said write a personal note to the teacher. I
Yep.
saw that, so I guess they could say I was absent, or
Yep.
you know, so they can let the
Right
teacher
on
know
the
it's
assignment.
late because they were absent.
Exactly. So let's make this due at 4:10 p.m. Okay, so I'm going to click assign. Now don't do anything with it, and we'll wait till 4:10 and we'll see what happens. Because like I said, some of these things I haven't used yet, so it's kind of a little experiment too. So don't submit anything for that. Okay, let's see. The other thing I'll tell you guys about while we're waiting for that is the About tab. If you have things that your class uses throughout the year, or if it's just something you want them to be able to access really easily from Classroom, if you go to the About tab, you can write about your class, like you could call this, geography, and tell about geography. Where does this class meet? You could put your room number. Again, that's all optional.
Hold on,
You can-
I'll just take a peek at that one.
Yeah.
So if we click on it, oh, that's only a teacher thing.
No, students have that too.
Oh, they have it
So
too?
they can't edit it, but whatever you put here, they will see.
Okay, but they can't.
They shouldn't
They
be able
can
to
just
edit it.
view it.
They can click on teacher email and send you an email from here, and they can open the folder itself for that class from here. They can also, this is also add materials is where I would put something that, like for example with my geography, I have PDF files of each of the chapters of the textbook.
Oh.
So I could say, reading or lesson 1 reading packet. And then I can actually upload it as a file. So I have it on my computer in my Dropbox. So then I just find the file that I want, and it's the reading packet. And then post it. And now you guys as my students should be able to click on it, and it opens the PDF and they can read it.
And so, say you were doing chapter 1 or something like that. I'm just
Mm-hmm.
getting back to being a student here now.
Yep.
You could go back 3 weeks later and add something else to that chapter 1. No?
Well, you can, I think you can edit it. Yeah, you can always edit it or delete it.
What did you just send us?
If you go to the About for this class, then I uploaded a reading packet.
It's like a post.
Oh, so
It's just a post, yeah.
Okay, so you really wouldn't say, it's not like a folder.
No.
So you wouldn't add next week's packet onto this same
No,
one?
I wouldn't.
You might-
I
okay.
did. I mean, I do. The students, if it's something I don't care if they look ahead at, it's
Yeah.
fine. You wouldn't want to do it with obviously with like a test or an assignment
Right.
that you want them to fill out.
So does this packet stay forever, or would you delete it and then click on lesson 2 reading packet?
That's up to you. I personally will keep adding them, so by the end of the year they can access all of them.
Okay.
If they, I mean, I don't know that they would, but
It
they
would
could
just
go
be a
back
chain?
and yep.
Okay.
And the ones that you post after this go above it. So if I
Above
add
it,
another
oh.
one, it would be, 1, 2, 3, 4.
So most recent on the top.
Yep.
All right, that's
so that
cool.
they can find it. And that's just, because I know even if I tell my students how to get to it, they're going to keep asking, well, how did I get to that again?
Yeah.
So if it's right here, they can get to it. It's really easy for them to find. So it's just something that I'm like, well, I want them to have it and be able to access it really easily. So, okay, is it past our 4:10? Why don't you guys check and see if the assignment, does it say anything about it being overdue or past due? Might not be.
Yeah, I did. So we go back to stream.
No, this is not done.
Yeah, go back to your stream.
I saw something here. Where did I see it?
Okay,
Oh,
it says
here?
due
Is
today.
this still? say that? Can you still do it even if it's late?
Yeah, click on it.
Is
That's what I'm trying to test. Is if it'll let
If
you.
it's really late.
So
It says due today, not done.
not done.
Right? I don't know. It doesn't look like we do.
Well, go ahead and just add.
Add an existing file or create a new one. So the copy didn't come through. Were you
I
sending
didn't
us
put a copy. No, I didn't on that one.
Okay,
But
so-
try to add something and just see if you can like
Like my
anything from your Google, yeah, or upload a file like a
like
picture,
as if this was my.
as if this was your homework and you were trying to turn it in.
That's your dog.
Yeah.
These
Okay,
are
so
all
you
live.
can turn it in. That's cool.
Yeah, I turned it in late. So
And
does
did it say late?
No, it says done, but I'm sure it'll say late on yours.
Okay, so let's see what it shows up on mine.
Sent you a picture of a bird.
Yes. Oops. My mouse stopped working. Is it dead? I think my mouse died.
Oops, this
Okay.
file cannot be added. I must have picked not a good one.
All right. So. Oops. So you're done with yours. You turned it in. For some reason, it never wants me to click on it. Okay. Yep. So it says done, but late.
Okay.
So they can submit it late. It just tells you that it's late, which is really nice.
Okay, just a second. So I've got mine. Now, when I turn it in, it's going to tell me I'm late.
Yep. Or it tells me
No,
that
it
it's
does.
late.
It just says you're done.
Yeah.
Oh, it didn't tell me I was late. Yeah.